Welcome everyone. I am Natasha Bray. I'm a success mastery coach, master heart healer, and founder of the School of Healing Mastery. And I help women entrepreneurs to unlock more money and more love in their lives through helping them heal their hearts and their success saboteurs. And I'm super excited to be here today with Reverend Lynn LaBorde. Thank you for joining me, Lynn.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
That's okay. That's okay. And Lynn, well, it's very hard to do Lynn justice in one sentence because Lynn has got 33 years experience in the transformational field and the healing and spiritual field. She's a psychic medium. She is a full body trance channel. She is an expert in past life healing and Akashic record healing. She's got her own healing approaches. And she's a teacher, a healer, a mentor, everything you can think of. Lynn is an expert in it all. So I'm going to hand you over to Lynn now to tell you a little bit more about the unique work that she does and the amazing results that she gets with her clients. So over to you, Lynn.
Natasha, thank you so much. So first of all, I'm honored to be here because I consider you to be masterful at what you do. And just the shout out that I wanted to give to you is I refer to you as a spiritual forensic healer, because I know that your background has been as a forensic working in that field. But I think that you took that genius and I think you brought it to this world of spirituality and healing in a way that's extraordinary. So I came across you through a shared community that we have with a woman named Melanie Ann Lair, who's kind of been a mentor and a guide for all of us. And you had offered through one of your programs something that was called like the six-figure. I can't remember the titling of it exactly.
Your next six figures.
Your next six figures. And I had always said to myself, I was kind of trudging along. I would have 5-figure months. I've had 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 months in doing this incredible work that we do online. But I had never crested that 100,000. And I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. So I joined that program. And you offered a session with one of your newest kind of ingenue healers in your incredible modality for heart healing. Her name was Anne-Marie. And I did a session with her. And it healed something so deeply inside of me that I didn't even know was a wound that was there. And it was literally the day that I remembered my father driving off when he and my mom had broken up. And there was a healing that happened out of that. And then all of a sudden, business just began booming. I was literally receiving money every day. And then there was another program at the Uplevel Academy that you had offered. And we started to do the work of being, I did a test where I looked at what my success saboteurs were based on your models. And I realized that there was this place where I was hiding. And I would always tell people, I would help them heal, but then I would say, shh, don't tell anybody, especially my mother. Like I was embarrassed for my mother to know the kind of work that I did, because I came from a background of being a private banker in Beverly Hills, working for one of the top private banks, managing a $500 million portfolio. But because I was a psychic and a medium, I'd be sitting next to someone and I would get messages from their spiritual team saying, well, why don't you ask them if they want to do this or do that? And they'd go, that's a great idea. I've been thinking about that myself. That's because their dead uncle was saying, have them invest the money that they inherited from me. So, anyway, there came a point where I had to step away from that because my gifts were coming out and I needed to help people. So I've created a year-long program where I offer 7 different courses, helping people move through and learn psychic healing tools for each of the 7 chakras in the body, the energy centers that help us through manifestation, help us through relating, help us through communicating, help us through our, psychic and spiritual gifts and things like that. And the thing that I found astounding was I did a launch of a 6-month mastermind. I asked more than I had ever asked. I mean, it was outrageous. The classes I was offering were like $4,000, $2,000, a couple $100. But all of a sudden I said, this is a 6-month program and I'm asking $22,222. And I had so many people sign up that at first I reached out to you and I was like, oh my God, I had $135,000 a month. By the time everything was done, the entire launch was $212,000. And I blew my own mind. Natasha, it was crazy because it was like I applied. Now listen, this is one of the greatest things that I know as a teacher that I love, and you must know as well, is when you come across a student who's actually able to apply your techniques and have the results, like you fall in love with that person, because like how could you not? Because you knew that they had it in them, and then they apply it and then they do it. So I felt so blessed, and I've signed, like every time you come out with something, I'm like, here, take my money. I want to do whatever you do. And they talk about like having soulmate clients, and it's like I have such respect for what you've done and the brilliance of what you've created. Those success saboteurs are just blowing my mind.
Let me just share a little bit with those watching. So Lynn has got, she's already had success in her business before we met. She mentioned those 5-figure months, and everything up to like 60, 70K month was your kind of...
The biggest, 73,000 was my biggest salesman.
Which is phenomenal. And Lynn came into the Your Next Six Figures experience, which was a 9-day experience where we healed the 4 different success saboteurs. And I guess it's more of an introduction to the work that we do in the 7-month Ultimate Uplevel Academy. And that combined with 1 heart healing session, which is my modality that I developed, and that was delivered by the lovely Anne-Marie from my team. Lynn's income exploded. So she put out a mastermind at the highest price ever, 22,000. That is a phenomenal fee, but so many people were interested and were signing up. So I remember Lynn messaging me, oh my God, I've just received 84,000. Oh my God, I've just received like 135,000. And now she's received 212,000. So she's had a 212,000 launch. How long is this? This has happened over like 4 weeks, pretty much, isn't it?
It's like I can't even. It's so indescribable, and it's a place of feeling like having the courage to say. And I just raised my hourly. I received a letter from a client where I had completely changed her life, and one of my spiritual guides said, "It's time to raise your prices." And I just raised my prices, hourly prices, to a price that feels so good in my heart.
Yeah.
And I like.
Can you tell us a little more about the results? You mentioned this client had written to you talking about the results.
One of the things I specialize in is past life work. And once I help people to open up their clairs, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience. And once that happens, then they are able to go into the Akashic records, and the Akashic records of like the iCloud of every experience that your soul has ever had across all dimensions in time and space. So they gain access to this, and everyone has the God-given right to be able to have access. So she and I had known each other from a spiritual community where a woman named Tina Spalding was channeling Jesus. And she reached out to me and she said, I keep having this feeling that I have this very deep relationship with Jesus. Would you help me to find out? So we went in and we did this past life healing with her. And she recalled being one of his daughters. And I knew through my own past life work that I was one of his younger sisters. And I remember babysitting the children. He was actually married to Mary Magdalene, and they had children. And so we went in and we did this work for her, and it turned out I was her aunt. I mean, it was just the sweetest thing. But she wrote this incredible letter to me about how that healing and that confirmation had gotten her closer to her husband, gotten her closer to her son, relieved anxiety and things that she was feeling. And she had a freedom that she said she never could have experienced. And, that was an hour session with me. And it was life altering for her. And I felt into that. And I thought, if I can, if I know that I can do that work with people, like there's value that I have that I didn't allow myself to experience before.
Yeah, it's priceless, isn't it? Can you kind of share, like, obviously you've had incredible financial shifts, which you absolutely deserve. And I think what's really great about this as well is you're not someone who helps other people make money. Okay. And I am someone that helps other people make money, of course, but people,
for you, by the way.
But people seem to think you can't make a lot of money unless you help other people make money. But that might happen as a side effect of your work, but it's not your marketing or your main focus. So what I really love is that you're showing people actually you can receive phenomenal amounts of money in an area of business that people don't necessarily fully believe that they can get paid really well for.
I remember my stepmother, one of my father's wives, saying to me, "You can't make money in spirituality." She had a couple PhDs, and at the time I was charging more than she was, and she said, "You can't do that." And there was a lot of shame came with that. One thing that I've been noticing in your work is I'm releasing the shame that had me want to hide. And so instead of, thinking that I am or have shame, what I'm finding now is courage and self-expression. So that's been really beautiful. But I work in a field, if you want to clear a room, people go, "What do you do for a living?" You say, "Oh, I channel Jesus." And like telling someone you sell insurance, but like, I remember my own fear in being able to say, I love and believe in God. And then to tell people that I'm a channel. I'm sorry, I have these little reminders on my phone to check in with Jesus and Mary Magdalene every day. But to be able to like have the courage of my own convictions. And we were talking about courage. Your courage is astounding. I mean, you went from a very safe world to coming out and doing this. And, to be able to say to people, I channel, and they go, "What does that mean?" Like my own mother I would always say, "Don't tell my mother what I'm doing." I remember when I came out as a medium, and I said to my sister, "We can't ever let mom know." Well, it turns out that my grandmother was a medium. It turns out that she had a deck of cards that I use now to do card readings for people based on the ancient book of time, the cards of destiny. My grandmother came to me through a medium friend of mine, and she said, "I have the gift, your mother has the gift, her sister has the gift, your sister has the gift, your nieces have the gift, my mother had the gift, my grandmother had the gift." So I come from a long lineage of women that are gifted psychically and spiritually. And I had to own up to that. And I had to, forego my fears of being killed for this, my fears of being persecuted for this. And the more honest I am, the more courage I have in telling people the kind of work that I do, like their lives are changing. So the work I do is based on Einstein's theory of relativity, which is that energy and matter expresses itself, E equals mc squared. So if you take any mass and you multiply it by the constant, which is the speed of light squared, there's a law in physics that says duplication causes erasure. I can help people to erase and remove the blockages that they've had. Energy moves through us, but if it comes at us too quickly, like a shock, we say, "I can't experience that." And it becomes stayed and blocked, and it has a shape and a color and a size and a texture and a temperature and emotions, energy and motion, emotion, that are blocked. So I've created a technique that allows people to remove those, and then the energy starts to flow again, and they have freedom in their lives. They're healing, healing themselves from afflictions that they've had, emotional afflictions, mental afflictions, physical afflictions, and it's all done through spiritual healing.
Yeah. And you can do that in one session, which
Absolutely.
I'm there with you on that. There's not many people out there in the world that have that power and ability to heal so much in one session.
Yeah.
And obviously you're very experienced. You've been doing this a long time, and you've created your own unique ways of doing things that nobody else does the way that you do it.
And I'm in the quantum realm, which is something that I know that you have a deep appreciation for as well.
Yeah.
In the quantum realm, everything exists. And if we can learn to call that to us, if we can learn to marry the energy of that, we can have our dreams come true.
I love that. And just out of interest, Lynn, I do believe that there's definitely soul clients, as you mentioned earlier, and there's something about the combination of my magic and your magic, which is very powerful, and is, can you explain what you think is different potentially with all the experience and knowledge that you have? What is different about the work that we've done together so far?
I think that you have intellectual property in what you've created with being able to define. You said this really fascinating thing. You said, I can have one conversation with a person and I can see exactly where their wounding is. And I think that takes a forensic mind. And I think that you have that. And I think that one of the things that I know that I bring to that is my ability to apply techniques because of how much I've trained myself. I have 29 certificates from all these different modalities that I've worked on for over 30 years. I know how to apply something. Your techniques were so applicable to me. I was able to follow the energy of them and go right to the root of something. And I had my own way of being able to help to heal that. You know, the work that I did with Anne-Marie, and then the work that I know that I'm going to have coming up with you. You had that birthday special, and I was like, I'm in.
You know what? I knew before I put it out there that you were going to sign there.
It was like an answer. I was like, God, please let me be able to work with her. Like literally, I was praying for it, and then it became available. And I was like, are you kidding me? So happy birthday to both of us on your birthday. I think that I was able to understand the way that your mind works and the genius of it, because I have my own genius. And I think that I was just able to speak to you and speak to your patterns for healing. And I remember reaching out to a bunch of friends saying, you got to do this work with Natasha. And one of my girls actually signed up. She's a student and then a client, and now she's in my mastermind program. And she gets so excited. And she's like, did you see this module? So we're doing your work together in the academy. And it's just, how much fun is it to have someone that you love doing something with you, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that I just it felt like we spoke a similar language, and I was just able to really grok and to understand your modalities, and they worked for me. Yeah. And I've worked with a lot of people, Natasha. Like, you know, you get to Melanie's world, and it's like, this, I want this one and this one, one from column A, one from column B, one from column C. But when I came to your work, it really worked.
Thank you. And quickly, I guess, because it was only within like a week or something that the results started to
I was in your sixth level, your sixth level, you know, your next six figure program. And it literally happened in that program. Yeah. It's astounding, really astounding.
And what does that money mean to you, Lynn? You know, this massive influx of 212,000, not to be sniffed at, that's a lot of money. But money is just money. What does it mean to you to have that money?
It gives me freedom to be able to provide for people that I love, to be able to help me, you know, clear up some things from my past that have been troublesome for me. Places where I'm able to like make amends with things within myself, feelings that I have had of shame and of feeling that I haven't had value and worth. And also it's causing me, believe it or not, to slow down and to appreciate and have gratitude for, you know, like Melanie says this great thing. She says, celebration is a party thrown in the name of gratitude. And to be able to celebrate myself, you know, there was a portion of that 212,000 that was sales, and then a portion that was cash. And I found myself going, okay, well, now I have to make sure that it's just, you know, pure cash. And without celebrating what it had brought in, you were the first person who said to me, you know, that makes you a millionaire. And I felt shivers in my body, and I was like, oh my God, that and I'm like, I'm a millionaire. Like, you said it and I believed it. And then I watched you and the millions that you've made. Like, you've been on my radar. And I just, to be able to have the preciousness of being able to relate to you and feel like she's done it, I know I can do it. I literally had one of my girls say to me, now that I've seen you have a six-figure month, then I know I can do it too. Mm-hmm. So my celebration is an act of generosity. Yeah. Because it lets other people know I've done it. I've done it as a psychic and as a medium, like, for God's sake, you know?
It is incredible. You know, it's taken me a long time. I'm not as advanced in my spiritual healing as you, I would say. I'm on the journey, but it's actually taken me a long time to come out of the spiritual closet too.
Scary. I was like, are they gonna burn me as a witch? Are they gonna hang me? Am I gonna be in stocks? Yeah.
Well, that is all linked in with the Outcast Success Saboteur that we are working through now, of course. And how have you changed sort of inside? Like, what has it done for how you feel about you?
There's definitely more of a sense of self-love and of appreciation and of gratitude. It's made me more grateful for myself. Yeah. It's made me more, it's made me slow down. you know, I'm used to speeding through things, but it's made me kind of slow down and sink into and accept that it's something that I manifested, that I felt worthy of. And that I, you know, it's like I took my mom out and we went shopping and I bought her $245 worth of makeup. Yeah. I bought myself hundreds of dollars of clothes, like just things that, you know, like I sent money to my nieces and my nephews just as a because I love you gift. You know?
That's lovely.
Places in which I'm able to share, because gifts are my first love language, you know, the 5 love languages. And so I love to receive gifts, but boy, do I love to give gifts to people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we love to give love the way that we love to receive it, of course. And I think it's great what you said, because there's a lot of slack, is that the right word? Flack online for people talking about money results currently. But actually, what you said there really nailed it on the head. Is we're showing other women what's possible. Like, even if you've got a spiritual business, you know, where you channel Jesus, you can still have a 6-figure a month business, which is incredible. And actually is paving the way for all of those women, like you've looked at me and thought, oh, well, she's doing it, maybe I can do this too. And then you did. And then other people are looking at you, and you're that person for others now, leading the way and showing them what's possible for them.
And you know, I have an aunt who's very wealthy, and you know, she was always like, you know, we don't talk about money. And I was like, but why not? You know, Melanie's like, let's put wealth in the hands of women and let's not feel ashamed of it. Let's not feel shamed by it. And, you know, one of the things that's happened for me is realizing that a lot of the shame that I felt actually came from other people. It was like generational, from my parents, you know, the places where they were shamed. And it's like, but that's not my reality. That's not my truth. So one of the things that your work has had me doing now is to question everything. Why have I felt like I can't talk about this? These inquiries are so powerful because they, you know, we wake up in the morning and our life is populated by the past, where the guilt and the shame is, or fear of the future of repeating the past. But it's now allowing me to say, what does this really mean to me? What does it really mean to be a millionaire? And is that okay to say out loud? You know, am I going to be the millionaire next door who's like hiding it, you know, the dry cleaner? Or am I someone who can say, like Melanie does, and, you know, and this year I made 24 million. When I watch Melanie make 24 million, I'm like, I could do that too. I could do 2 million a month. Like, she just makes it possible for us, you know?
Yeah, she has definitely been a big inspiration for me as well, because it's like we need to see the evidence in others and then create that evidence for ourselves, because it shows what's possible. And I have no doubt that I will also be making millions a month at some point.
I know that's coming. I know that's coming for you.
So women can do that too, because I've seen someone else before me doing it, you know?
Exactly. And it's so funny. The image that's coming to me now is you have an ability to sculpt us. Like, you know how Michelangelo said that David existed in the slab of stone, and then he just chipped away everywhere that was not Michael? And I think that that's what your heart healing does. I think that that's what your Uplevel Academy does with the deep dive into the saboteurs. I think you help us chip away. Like, I'm seeing you as a sculptor. This is what Spirit's showing me right now. You're helping us chip away the artifice, the places that are not us. So we're getting to the truth. Like, I'm a millionaire. I was born worthy and nothing's ever changed. Another one of her beautiful lines. Like, that exists in me, and it's a desire that I've had. And that's why I worked in financial services. So to be able to marry, being able to be, you know, a spiritual healer and a millionaire at the same time, like, that's the best of both worlds for me. And Jesus is like, go for it, you know?
Yeah, but also that's another thing, isn't it? People say you can't be spiritual and extremely rich. I disagree.
I disagree too. We're on the same page.
It's a really big like limiting belief or money block or whatever you want to call it, wound even amongst the spiritual community.
Exactly.
So it's breaking those stereotypes as well, really, isn't it? That actually you get to be extremely spiritual and extremely rich.
You know, at the time when I first started doing this work, I was charging like $150 an hour. And my stepmother, who had her PhDs, was charging $125, and she said, I can't believe you think you have the audacity to charge more than I do. I was like, well, my results are, I don't keep people in therapy. I'm not that, like, she worked as a psychologist.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's more instant. It's less time, faster results.
I want them in and out. I don't want them to have to tell me the same story week after week after week. Let's hear it and move on.
Yeah, we are similar, different in our styles, but similar in terms of it's about results quickly. Go as deep as you can, as quick as you can, and clear that for that person.
That heart healing that you have done, I'm like, oh my God. At some point, I want to get trained in that modality as well, because it's just brilliant.
I'm sure you will. You are the master healer with all these different modalities, and your own, of course. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And thank you for the work that you have created for us to do our healing work. It's truly extraordinary, and I deeply honor the genius that you are. I mean that.
Thank you. Thank you. And for anyone watching this who's loving your energy, Lynn, and wants to find out more about you and your services, where can they find out more?
I have a website. It's called Soma Life. That's the name of my company. SOHMALIFE. We used to call ourselves Soma. And I had a millennial who was a business partner. And so Soma stands for, it's an acronym, the Seed of Humanity's Manifest Ascension. Wow. And we have this vision of Soma being the hub of the worldwide wellness community, and of working across 5 facets: physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, and financial, to give people healing. Because when people don't have money to buy food, they eat junk food. Organic food is more expensive than fast food. Like, I think that's upside down. So, my vision for that is tremendous. And right now I'm training teachers to come and teach in the school that I'm creating, called the Psychic Development Academy, where we're going to train gifted psychics and healers in a curriculum over 8 months. So you can find me at somalife.com, and there's lots of exciting stuff that's coming.
There's definitely lots of exciting things going on there. So I know that there's a lot of people in my audience that will love what you do, and potentially even want to come and train with you. So thank you for sharing all about that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's it from us. If you are interested in Lynn's services, go and check her out. Go and connect with her. She's a lovely soul. And if you're interested in heart healing or the Ultimate Uplevel Academy, just drop me a message and I'll give you more information on that. Okay.
Thank you so much, love.